everyone, today I'm gonna show you how to make two gluten and guilt-free pizza dough. Let's see how to make this. So for this recipe I have used two different kinds of flour that are quinoa and buckwheat flour, and I add together the psyllium husk, which will contribute to make the pizza dough more elastic and soft. Using quinoa and buckwheat alone will make your dough harder, as these are atypical cereals, so they lack the gluten component. Next, we will need water, a pinch of salt, and a pinch of date sugar, grapeseed oil, instant yeast, tomato sauce, a mozzarella, a butternut squash, and porcini mushroom. You can find the dosage of these ingredients in the description below the video. Okay, so with that being said, let's now cut our butternut squash. Once we cut the butternut squash, we can remove the seeds, and you can keep the seeds aside and put it in the oven for a few minutes. They are full of valuable nutrients, so they're very good and healthy. But let me tell you that since ancient time, butternut squash or pumpkin has been attributed with soothing, calming, and antioxidant properties. It is beneficial for those who have blood type 0 and A. It is neutral for those who have blood type AB, but is not recommended for those of group B. The main components of the pumpkin are carbohydrates, water, sugars, fiber, and proteins. It contains vitamins A, B, C, and E, beta-carotene, mineral salts, such as calcium, sodium, potassium, iron, and magnesium, and many amino acids. Vitamin A helps you have healthy eyes and see more clearly, especially in low light conditions. Beta-carotene, vitamin C, vitamin E, iron, and folate contained in pumpkin or butternut squash strengthen your immune system. In addition, beta-carotene in pumpkin can reverse the effect of aging on your skin. Its potassium levels can lower your risk of stroke, kidney stones, and type 2 diabetes. Pumpkin are high in fiber and low in calories. That means that they make you feel full without adding to your overall food intake for the day, so it's excellent if you aim to lose weight. Also, pumpkin lowers the risk of certain kinds of cancer, like lung cancer or prostate cancer, and also it lowers down your blood pressure. Lastly, pumpkin makes you sleep better and improve your heart health. Okay, so once you cut the butternut squash into pieces, you can put it into an oven tray and add some grapeseed oil and salt and pepper if you wish, and then put it in the oven for about 35 minutes at 180 degrees. Okay, so let's now prepare the dough. I will add to the quinoa and buckwheat flour and psyllium husk the salt and date sugar. You can omit the date sugar, it's just optional. So let's now add the instant yeast. You can use alternatively the sourdough starter or brewer's yeast, but remember the leavening of the dough will be different. So for the sourdough starter will be 24 hours, and for the brewer's yeast 1 hour or 2 hours also. So let's now add the grapeseed oil and mix it until well combined. Our last ingredient for our dough will be water to add slowly to our mix of flour. So buckwheat is not a cereal because it's gluten-free, but is rich in mineral salt, in particular potassium and magnesium, iron, manganese, zinc, selenium, and vitamins, in particular B1, B2, PP, B5, E, and P. Consumed whole, it provides an excellent amount of fiber and has a rather high satiety index. Buckwheat may moderate blood sugar levels, making it a healthy choice for people with type 2 diabetes. And what's more, it might boost heart health by improving blood pressure and your blood lipid profile. Moreover, buckwheat is particularly indicated in case of excessive thinness instead of physical and nervous weakness. Buckwheat is recommended to people of blood type A and is marked as a neutral for people of blood type 0. The blood groups B and AB must instead avoid it as it is quite harmful for them. Like buckwheat, quinoa is also a gluten-free cereal, so it's not a real cereal. And quinoa is also non-GMO, is as I said gluten-free, and usually it grows organically. It technically isn't a cereal grain, but it is called like pseudo cereal as buckwheat. In other words, it is basically a seed which is prepared and eaten similar to a grain. So quinoa is a very healthy choice and alternative to like normal wheat that contains gluten. Also for those who aren't intolerant or allergic to gluten. So quinoa was an important crop for the Inca Empire. They referred to it as the mother of all grains and believe it to be sacred. It has been eaten for thousands of years in South America and only recently became a trend food, even reaching superfood status. Indeed, quinoa contains large amounts of flavonoids, including quercetin and camphorol. These are potent plant antioxidants, and they have been shown to have anti-inflammatory, antiviral, anti-cancer, and antidepressant effects. In addition, these substances play a very important role in health, as they counteract aging and cellular degeneration. Quinoa is an exception to this because it contains sufficient amounts of all the essential amino acids. For this reason, it is an excellent source of protein. It has both more and better proteins than most grains. Protein is made of amino acids, and their intake is essential for us, as our body cannot produce them and needs to obtain them through your diet. Quinoa is high in fiber, protein, and has a low glycemic index. These properties have all been linked to weight loss and improved health. Lastly, studies show that quinoa can improve metabolic health by reducing blood sugar, insulin, and triglyceride levels. This superfood is compatible with all blood groups. However, it should be emphasized that due to the presence of saponins, quinoa is not digestible by children under 2 years of age, whose digestive system is not yet fully developed. For the same reason, quinoa is not recommended for breastfeeding mothers. As this cereal contained in our dough have no gluten, we have to add psyllium husk as a soluble fiber that will make the dough malleable like the gluten one will do. Because of its excellent water solubility, psyllium can absorb water and become a thick, viscous compound that resists digestion in the small intestine. Its resistance to digestion allows it to help regulate high cholesterol, triglycerides, and blood sugar levels. It can also aid weight management and relieve mild diarrhea as well as constipation. Moreover, unlike some other potent sources of fiber, the body typically tolerates psyllium well. But let me tell you the reason why I suggest gluten-free pizza. And this is because gluten, if consumed daily, can cause very serious diseases, such as degenerative diseases. For example, we are talking about the various autoimmune diseases, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's diseases, multiple sclerosis. It must also be said that the wheat that we consume today is very different from what our grandparents and great grandparents ate in the past. The wheat has in fact been genetically modified and the gluten content has quadrupled. This is both to improve crop health, making them more resistant to wind and diseases, and to improve the malleability of the flour. In fact, gluten is a very sticky protein, and this greatly facilitates the making of bread and other baked goods. So, a high gluten content, from a commercial point of view, is a positive factor. So, as you saw, I gave my pizza a round shape, a little bit bigger than my oven tray, and this is because I will make the pizza crust filled with sheep and goat cheese. But this passage is optional, you can avoid it and just make a simple pizza. I do prefer this, it's a bit more tasty. Okay, so now let's make the second pizza with the other half of our dough. Okay, so once we fill the crust with cheese, we can put the pizza without the sauce on top in the oven for a few minutes at 200 Celsius degrees. And at this point, the butternut squash is also ready, so we can take it out from the oven and place the small pieces in a food processor to blend it all together and make like a butternut squash sauce for our pizza. sauce is ready, we can take our pizza out from the oven and place this sauce, the butternut squash sauce, on top. And now we are ready to put the pizza in the oven for about 8 minutes at 200 degrees. Let's now do the second pizza with the tomato sauce instead. The only thing that is changing, as you can see, is the ingredient. Given the high content of nutrients, tomatoes are considered by most to be a food that is good for health and which we should consume widely. However, people of blood group A and B who consume tomatoes often or daily, over time can experience serious health problems such as articular pains, prostate disorders, hair loss, gastritis, and stomach upset. But this can differ from person to person, of course, and this is why I also suggest an option of pizza without tomato sauce, but pumpkin instead, which is delicious. Okay, so at this point, let's take the pizza with tomato sauce out from the oven and let's put the mozzarella on top. Let's do the same thing with the butternut sauce pizza. As you can see here, I've utilized a normal cow milk mozzarella, but I do recommend buffalo mozzarella instead because it's healthier, especially for those of group 0 and A. And the buffalo mozzarella doesn't need to be put in the oven for a long time, just for 1 or 2 minutes. But generally you can make up your pizza with instead of mozzarella with some cheese like goat cheese, sheep cheese, parmesan cheese, grated on top as you want. Last but not least, let's add the porcini mushroom. Mine were dry porcini mushrooms, so I had to soak them into the water for about 20 minutes before to add them on top of the pizza. And I will cook them into the oven on top of the pizza, so no need to do it before. But you can use the fresh mushroom and do the same thing, up to you. Meanwhile, for our regular pizza, I choose to place on top the anchovies, spicy anchovies, just because I like it a bit more salty and spicy. But you can choose the ingredient that you prefer to put on top of our pizza, or you can leave it as it is. Tomato and mozzarella is still delicious. And now, finally, our 2 pizzas are ready to eat. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Or if you want to support my free healthy video recipe, it will mean a world to me if you can subscribe to my channel. And with that being said, I will give you all my love and light, and I will see you in the next recipe video.